I decided to fix CG Geek's satisfying animations. It was not very satisfying actually, it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my 3D career. I started with the sand cutting animation. Apparently physics don't work, so I tried to use a curve, attach it to the slice. It worked, I mean it worked pretty well, and I was kinda getting like a hope inside of me already, but then it just slided away in the end. It never worked. Next up, I tried physics. I could maybe make these two stand really close, then a really sharp knife would cut in between them, but the blade decided to butcher the slice and roll it into a ball of crap, so obviously this didn't work either. I had a strong feeling that this toast kept giving me the middle finger. I was embarrassed, but I wasn't giving up. I added a clothes simulation. I added a pinning vertex group which kept the slice fixed to place. I took that same really sharp knife and with the vertex weight proximity modifier, I made it so that when the knife touches the pinning group, it lets the slice go. The problem was though that the toast kept coming back to the area the knife had cut. So I created a large invisible plate, made it follow the location of the knife and used this to affect the pinning group of the slice. After 6 hours of seeing the middle finger of this toast, I was ready to be satisfied. Enjoy. Yeah, I feel kinda satisfied, but the story didn't end here. You haven't met the virus yet. The virus. I modeled the virus, it went well. I added advanced jelly physics, it went well. I created a razor sharp blade and animated it to cut the tentacles off. This didn't go well. I threw this crap out of the window. I filled the virus with 10,000 metaballs to simulate single molecules. I simulated for 20 hours and by the morning the result had somehow disappeared. What a nice thing to say. But this time the virus was very far off being something satisfying. I mean, this was hell on earth probably. But my brother, who has only used the blender for like once, gave me some inspiration, somehow. I remodeled the virus to be more gross, more slimy and more sticky, and I separated the tentacles and added a clothes simulation with pressure from inside. Then I pinned the tentacles to the body, and to make them come off at some point I added the same vertex weight proximity modifier I had used with the toast. So when something like the blade comes closer, the pinning disappears and the tentacles fall off like if they were cut. But like in CG Geek's animation, the tentacles kept jumping back after the blade had cut them, so I added two circles with the screw modifier to form something that looks like shields, and those represented the areas where the blade had already been. So the tentacles don't jump back because while the blade is gone, the effector stays in place and tells no, you won't go anywhere. To make the movement of these shields automatic, I added a driver to both of them, so they use the rotation of the blade and also a little Python expression to limit their rotation to 180 degrees each, so they don't overlap. I assigned the pin group of the tentacles on the right to be affected by the right effector and the tentacles on the left by the left effector. I added some materials taking inspiration from CG Geek, and 47 or potentially more hours later, I think for me this will be like enough satisfaction for 2 months or so, because this was a journey. So you can download these files from the description, be even more satisfied, and have a nice satisfying day. Ciao.